Welcome to Natural Recovery from Suffering. This is Scott Killaby, my podcast. It's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay. Is that okay? um, Life is just one big misunderstanding, isn't it? In a way, it's like I've got my view over here, and you've got your view over there, and they're very different. And I'm going to try to convince you that yours is wrong and mine is right. You're going to try to convince me that mine is wrong and yours is right. We're going to end up probably either getting mad at each other or walking away, and neither one will have accomplished the objective, probably. Sometimes it happens. But mostly we all just kind of want to be right, don't we? And therefore we're kind of all misunderstanding each other. Because I don't think we really want to be right. I think we're trying to survive. And we're just misunderstanding that. Is it okay to misunderstand that? I don't know if that's not okay for me to misunderstand that, because there's the root of my suffering. But it's okay to be understood. And the way that I'm okay to be understood is to get to the fact of my root of my suffering. It's okay to be misunderstood. I mean, look, okay, I'm sure you could get understanding if you surround yourself with people who agree with you. I've learned you can do that. I'm being flippant, yeah, sarcastic. But you can, right? You can get people to agree with you, and it's like we all have this understanding. We do it in relationships and organizations and businesses and, cults and whatever else. We have this mutual understanding. We all believe the same thing. We all agree. Yeah. So, we don't misunderstand each other very much when we all agree, right? We're all safe, right? But who's free there? Because if somebody changes their vote there, then there's no understanding. See, because, wow, can we have understanding without agreement, first of all? Can I be different? Can I think differently? Can you be different? Can you think differently? Can I feel this, and is this okay? Can you feel that? Is that okay? To me, that's the deepest understanding, like the being and seeing of what is and allowing. And yeah, but before that can show up, I do think we have to deal with this, that we're not okay being misunderstood. Which is another way of saying we just need to be right. Which is another way of saying we're trying to survive. Which is another way of saying we're not getting into the body sometimes, or many times, many of us, and getting to the root of why we do all that and why we're suffering. I've had long and arduous battles with trying to be understood. So in other words, if I did something and somebody didn't like it, I would get triggered earlier in my life. If I did or said something. And so a lot of times I just didn't say and do things because I was afraid of being misunderstood and getting hurt. I didn't want people to see me. So I stayed safe and all that. And that was fine. And I surrounded myself with people who agreed with me and wouldn't hurt me, of course, by disagreeing, or because I was an anger repressor, people pleaser. So I was pretty protected from being misunderstood, you could say. If you're really quiet, if you repress anger and you go along with things, you don't have to feel that pain and that fear. Because like in a conversation, you won't try to be right. You'll just like, oh yeah, you'll agree with people. You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever you said, right? And you're shaking your head up because really, what's important to me is that you like me. It's not that we're actually, coming to an understanding. The understanding is that I'm going to sit here and shake my head and agree with you, even if I don't, because it's most important that I have to hold my anger back. Survive. But when I got to law school, I learned I can't just completely hide. Now I've got to argue. I got to be an attorney. I'm going to argue. So here I am in court. And more chance of triggers when you have to speak up. Did you notice that? Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Well, at least overt triggers, right? Because when you're really quiet, the triggers can be very quiet. It's like you just go into your room and feel wounded or something. That's how I lived. I'm just not understood. And by the way, I'm also not loved. I felt. When I started to come out of my shell more, it's like, or as an attorney and otherwise, and even before that, triggers always felt like in some way I felt misunderstood or I was trying to get somebody to understand me better and they didn't. And that triggered me. Why aren't they understanding me? They don't see my point of view. What? And by the way, they're gaslighting me because they're presenting this other perspective. They're not understanding what I'm saying. All that confusion was coming because I had buried anger, actually. But because it's simpler when you're not in repression, you just speak your feelings more. You're more authentic. And if you can't, the mind takes over, trying to get understanding, right? It's trying to stay safe. Like trying to, you know what I mean? Have you ever done that where you're trying to explain yourself? Like, no, you don't get it. No, let me explain. No, listen. You're wrong. I'm right. And then triggered and lost in it. That can happen. But is it okay to be misunderstood and not have to correct it? Somebody misunderstands what you mean or you say or who you are even. Oh, I could never have done that. Like if you think I am a certain way that I feel is very different than the way I am, I can't stand for that. That's how it used to be. Yeah, if you're over there thinking that I'm a narcissist or an abuser or something or a weakling and a whatever it is, I used to have to correct that. Right? I have to correct that misunderstanding because I'm afraid. And because I haven't faced my fear, your name calling hurts me. And I have to correct that because I can't be misunderstood. See, there's the trauma. That's the self-protective repression. I'm saying that's driving everything. That's the context of the podcast, really. I'm not just telling a story or giving anecdotes. Your repression and your mechanism and the way that you respond may be very different than mine. A different story, but suffering is suffering. Is it okay to be misunderstood and then not have to correct it? Without avoiding your emotions. Because it's easy to do it is not correct something by disconnecting from somebody, right? Like somebody says, hey, you're a narcissist. Well, I'm just never going to speak to you again. Because I can't bear to face the emotions or the pain that brings up in me. So I'm just going to disconnect from you. And label you, whatever I need to label you, to protect myself from seeing that maybe you were saying something that I need to look at. But instead of looking at it, I might be too busy trying to make you see me differently, right? Because I'm not okay with being, quote unquote, misunderstood because I'm not a narcissist, man. But we all have narcissism in us. or we all have obnoxiousness. We all have all this in us. We all have weakness in us. We all have power. We're all everything, see? That's the misunderstanding. The real misunderstanding, right? Stay tuned as we go deeper